Oh my. Look at his fractions.
All right, let's try that again. Let's see if turning off my mouse changes anything. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe my mouse needs new batteries. Under fractions, today we're talking actually about dividing fractions. And the first thing we're going to look at, because dividing fractions can be kind of confusing, because when you divide by fractions, usually when you divide now, when you divide things, you end up with a smaller number. A lot of times when you multiply by or divide by fraction, you actually end up with a bigger number. But let's say this. I'm going to start off with a circle. Okay, and I am going to take that circle and I am going to cut it. Well, I'm going to do this. Let's say I have half a circle. So here's my 1/2. And I'm going to divide it by 1/8. And I'm going to draw a second circle here and cut this into 8. So here's the question that we're asking. Okay, this is my 1/8. If I take 1/2 and divide it by 1/8, well, first of all, let's talk about, here is 1/8, right? I'm only talking about this 1/8. The rest of the circle can go away, doesn't really matter. And here I'm only talking about 1/2. The question you have to answer is, when you divide by something, you're asking how many of these are in that. Like when you take 10 divided by 2, you're saying how many 2's do I get out of 10? 5. Well, how many 1/8 can I get out of 1/2? In other words, now here, think about this. If I cut this fraction into 8s like that second one was cut into, 1/2 of the circle has how many of those 1/8 in it? Mia? 4. So the answer is 1/2 divided by 1/8 actually equals 4, which doesn't make sense to a lot of people because you start off with fractions, you divide by a fraction, you think you get a fraction, you think you get a small number, but in reality, you get a bigger number because there are a bunch of 1/8s in that, okay? And some of them work out nicely where you can do it. It wouldn't work out if I asked you how many 1/3s were in 1/2. That'd be a little tougher because if you think about cutting a circle into thirds, it doesn't work out. It's nice because 1/8 you can piece together to get a half, but 1/3 you can't do that. Now we'll talk about how to do that later. So this only works for a couple things. For example, if I took 3/4 and divided it by 1/4, how many 1/4 are there in 3/4? How many 1/4? If you think about having 3/4 of a circle, which would be this, you have 3/4 of a circle, and you are asking how many 1/4 can you get out of there? Caleb, your answer is? 3. Now you might be able to do this easier. How about this? What is 1 divided by 1/8? If you have one whole circle, how many 8s can you take out of a whole circle? Landon?
8.
Exactly. Okay. How many? Well, let's do this. 1/2. How many 1/2s can you take out of 1? Alex?
2.
2. How many 1/3s can you take out of 1? Come on.
3.
3. You can kind of see the pattern there. As long as it's 1. Oh, well then how about this? What if you have two circles and you divide it by 1/3? How many 1/3s can you take out of two circles? Kaylee?
6.
6. Well, you kind of get the gist of that there. I was trying to think. Let's see, if you don't get this, this won't bother me, but let's see this. How about this? If you get this, then you're a pretty smart math kind of person. 1 divided by 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to draw it up for you and see if you can get the answer here. Here's my 1, right? I'm going to cut it into fourths. And here is my 3/4. And I'm going to actually erase the part that's not there so you don't get. Alright. There's my 3/4. I'm asking how many 3/4 I can get out of 1. Now let me tell you for sure. Well, I guess Ryan.
1 remainder, 1/4.
You can't have, when you work with fractions, you can't have remainders.
Well,
Okay.
it could be a
You
mixed
can't
number.
have remainders. You can have a mixed number, but you can't be a remainder. Noah, what do you think?
1 and 1/4.
1 and 1/4 is not quite right, but you're close. You have a 1/4 left, but that's not. Let's see if anybody's got it. Cameron?
1 and 3/4.
Not 1 and 3/4. Alex?
1 and 1/2.
Not 1 and 1/2.
Mr. Hahn.
No, I'm gonna give a couple more here. Mia?
3 and 1/4.
Not 3 and 1/4. So I can tell you you're only gonna get 1/4 out of that here. One more try here. Brooke?
1/4.
Did you say 1? It's gonna be 1 here.
Oh,
Alright, so here we go. I'm gonna do this. If I'm gonna take out, I'm gonna get my 1/3 out of this, which takes up this, right? I am removing, that's where my whole number 1 comes from, because I can take 1 of these out of that. Then this is what I'm left with, this piece right here, right? If I divided this by this, I'm left with this piece because it doesn't get taken up. Now what you have to think about on this, since I'm taking this out, what part is this of that? This 1/4 is what part of taking another 3/4 out? Who said it? Sammy, that is exactly it. It is 1 and 1/3 of another one. I can take out 1 whole 3/4 and I can take out 1/3. Now, how many of you actually got that? Don't be afraid to admit if you didn't. How many of you don't get it? Which is fine, because, ladies and gentlemen, math people don't sit around and draw pictures and do all this. Here is all you need to know about dividing by fractions. We've multiplied by fractions, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to that problem I just did, which was what? 1 divided by 3/4. Okay. Here's all you need to know about divided by fractions. Write this down in bold, beautiful letters so you can go back and look at it because you'll need it for the rest of your life. To divide by fractions, or divide by a fraction, comma, you just flip and multiply by the second fraction, or whatever it is. I'll show you what this is, and you'll be, wow, that's a lot easier to draw in pictures. I probably shouldn't start with this one, but I will just because we talked about it. Now maybe I'll do this one in a second here. We did what? 1/2 divided by 1/8, and we knew that was 4, right? But rather than having to think about it or draw pictures, all this simply means, all that you need to do is this. Okay? You take the second fraction, you flip it over, instead of 1/8, it becomes 8/1. and you make it multiplication with that first fraction. You flip it over and you multiply. 2 steps, flip and multiply. And look what happens when you do. 8 times 1 is 8, and 2 times 1 is 2. And then 8 over 2 is the same thing as 4, which is what we said when we did the pictures.
Wow.
Or this one here, 1 divided by 3/4. Instead of dividing by 3/4, I flip that second fraction and multiply by 4/3. And 1 times 4/3 is, anything times 1 is itself. So 1 times 4/3 is 4/3. And 4/3 changes into 1/3. Is that what we got on that page there? Wait, where did it go? 1/3. Okay, so you don't have to draw pictures. The book might ask you to use your manipulatives, and if that's the case, you probably can. But this right here, will make your life very easy on any kind of fraction sort of division thing. For example, the ones we talked about, remember I said 1 divided by 1/8? Well, that's the same thing as 1 times 8 over 1, and that's what we got, which was 8. Or 8 over 1 if you like. It doesn't really matter too much. How about 2/3 divided by 1/3? 2/3 divided by 1/3. You probably already know the answer to that, but it is the same as 2/3 times 3 over 1, which ends up being 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, and 6 over 3 is the same thing as 2. It's not so bad, is it? How about this? I'll give you one. What is 1/4 divided by 1/12? Let you figure out the answer for me. 1/4 divided by 1/12. 1/4 divided by 1/12. Multiplied by 12 over 1, and Madison says 3 is correct. Because you take 1/4, instead of dividing by 1/12, you multiply by 12 over 1, which gives you 12 over 4 if you multiply across, which is 3. So, Shazam. Congratulations, children. You are one step closer